Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm taking a look at Orion Duel by Andrea Mainini and Alberto Branchiari. This is an abstract strategy game for 2 players ages 12 and up that plays in about 15 to 30 minutes. It's originally published by Matagot, but it's also localized by Geronimo Games, who were kind enough to send a copy to me to review. And before I start doing that, I'd like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. It really helps the channel. And please also check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below. Patrons of my channel get early access to all of my videos, access to Patreon exclusive content, their name in the credits, and you also save up for the exclusive Board Game Heaven enamel pin. All right, let's set up a game. To set up a game of Orion Duel, give every player their pieces. The blue player has 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these, and 3 of these, and one that is fully blue of double hexes and a single hex. And of course the orange player will have the same pieces but in the opposite color. So these pieces of mine will have 1 hex in orange, and these pieces of the opponent will have 1 hex in blue. Put the board in the middle of the table, decide who gets to start, and that player puts all 8 of these galaxy tokens randomly on the board, but they have to be at least 2 spots away from each other. So that means there need to be 2 spots in between. So I couldn't put it here because that's just 1 spot, but I could put one here, for example. And it is allowed to put these in these starting areas that are indicated with these colors as well. So let's just say I want to put some down right there, here, here, and here. And then the opponent puts all 7 of those black hole tokens on the board as well. They also need to be 2 fields removed from each other, and also at least 1 field removed from the galaxies. So let's say perhaps here, that's 1 field removed, and we can put one here, 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 and here. Those are the only placement rules. You can put them however you like as long as you adhere to those rules. So there are countless of ways to set up the board. And it doesn't have to be symmetrical at all. And once the board is set up, you're ready to play. So let's explain the rules. In Orion Duel, players take turns putting one of their pieces on the board, and there are 3 ways to win in this game. The first way is to make a path from one of these zodiac signs to the opposite side, so by connecting, for example, this purple zodiac sign with that one. So if I'm going to place my pieces like this, then I need to make sure that I create, in my case, a blue path that goes all the way across the board and connects to one of these 4 spots and these 4 spots. So in this example, my opponent would have made a full connected path from the purple to the purple zodiac before I could manage to do the same, and that means that the orange player wins. Another way to win is to make a connection of your color connecting 4 different galaxies. So if, for example, I managed to place a piece here connecting 4 of these galaxy pieces to one connecting blue path, in my case, then I would also win the game. And the third and final way to win the game is to make a connection on your opponent's paths with 3 black holes. They have to be connected. So for example, if I did this right now, then I would connect these 3 black holes to one continuous path in the orange color. So that would make them lose the game and I win. And the game ends immediately if one of those 3 winning conditions is met. But should somehow a winning condition be met simultaneously for both players, then they play on until one of the players meets another winning condition. And in the rare occasion of having placed all of each player's pieces on the board and none of the players have won, then the player with the highest score wins, which is determined as follows. You simply add up all the galaxies that are on your color, so in this case that would be 4, and subtract any black holes that you have on your color, and that is your score. If that score is still the same between both players, then they share the victory. And in the unlikely case that a player cannot place a piece on the board, then they lose immediately. There's a few rules for placing a tile on the board. First of all, you can place a tile anywhere on an empty field. So that means I can put it anywhere on the board as long as there are no other tiles or tokens present on those fields. You can never put a tile on top of another tile, and tiles do not need to connect. So if the opponent places a tile, let's say here, and I know it's my turn again, I don't have to necessarily connect to any tiles of my color or of the opponent's color. I can put it anywhere I want. And once a tile has been placed, it's no longer relevant who placed that tile. You may only place one of your tiles underneath one of these galaxy or black hole tokens if you connect to one of the already placed tiles with matching color. So for example, if I wanted to get that galaxy in my color's path, then I have to connect it to another tile of my color. So I could do this, for example, and put it back where it was. And the same goes for black holes. If I want to give my opponent a black hole, I couldn't put it here because that spot does not yet connect the orange tile to another orange tile. But I could do it here, since then this tile will connect to that tile, which already has an orange spot on it. And if there's two tokens you want to connect, for example, the orange player had placed this one to get to this galaxy maybe, then I could put this tile here, connecting the blue to this blue one, creating a path to this galaxy, and creating a path to this black hole with this orange spot over here. And those are already all the rules for playing Orion Duel. Let's go to my final thoughts. Right, so my final thoughts on Orion Duel by Matagot and Geronimo Games, who were kind enough to donate a copy for me to review. Let's start with the components, as always. The board is fine. It's nice and small. It's got clear printing on it. It folds, so it can stay in a small box. The box is nice and compact, not bigger than it needs to be. And the tiles are of a very thick quality cardboard. It's really, really thicker than most because, well, of course, they're your player pieces, so they need to be a bit thicker because, you know, they're a bit tactile. That way, if they were thinner, they would wear faster. So I get why they are thicker, but I did a good job on that. And then the black holes and the galaxies have that same thickness because they come from the same punch board, of course. So that's really nice as well. All of that is very clearly printed too, so there's no mistaking what is a black hole and what is a galaxy on your board. And because of the contrast with the colors, it works really well. You got the black background with the white hexes on it, and then you have the orange and the blue, which also makes it very clear where all the colors are once the board starts filling up. Otherwise, you get a rule book, which is simply just a leaflet folded in two. That's all there is to it. Super simple, so that's good as well. And they put a couple of languages in this edition. I got the French, Italian, and Dutch one from Geronimo Games. And the box has a simple cardboard insert that has spots for all of these tokens and the small ones in the middle. And then you fold up the board, that goes on top, and that's it. Artwork is nice. The board looks good. You've got this bluish edges around the, you know, like you're watching through some kind of round spaceship into space or something. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. You got those zodiac signs in the 3 different colors, and there's a line here as well in those colors, so it's very clear which 2 colors connect. and the tiles themselves basically just have star fields on them in blue or in orange. It's like a nebula basically expanding across space. So that brings me to the theme as well. It's in space. And that's pretty much it for a theme, because it's an abstract strategy. They don't often have much theme to speak of, if any at all, but this is space, and the box kind of represents a clash between the blue and the orange nebula, trying to find a path across the universe, I guess, or connecting those galaxies, or trying to get the opponent to fall into a number of black holes. So thematically, it's okay, but you know, it doesn't score any points on that because it could have been anything really, but it does look nice. So the gameplay is pretty clever. You don't have that many pieces. You have 3 pieces of all of these shapes, and there's 4 different shapes, and then you have 2 pieces which only have your color with a double and a single hex, and that's it. So those 2 pieces are of course very valuable, because they only have your color. You could connect a lot of stuff with that, but you only have the 2, and they're pretty small. Whereas the bigger ones, where you can make a bit more progress across the board, do have 1 color from the opponent, so you will be indirectly helping them perhaps, but of course you're gonna try and put black holes on those pieces too. So it's a clever game where you really have to pay attention to how you're placing your pieces and how the opponent is placing their pieces. And you have to, of course, also be careful that you only have a limited number of these, so think ahead of what you want to use and where you want to put it, because you're already seeing where the black holes and the galaxies are. So, you know, if you can see a way to connect a galaxy to your color, and at the same time with the same piece give your opponent a black hole, that's ideal. But you of course need a specific shape for that. So that's pretty cool. And you just need to pay attention to what your opponent's doing while, you know, trying to get one of those 3 winning conditions, because that's interesting. You've got 3 ways to win and you only need 1 of them. But your opponent, of course, is doing the same. So you really need to pay attention. And that's really what this game is about. The rules are super simple. There's not a lot of them. In fact, this whole booklet is just components, setup, winning conditions, and then the way you play is just these 2 paragraphs on the back here. It's not even the full page. It's just this bit. That's how you play. So you can explain this in 5 minutes and get started, and it's really fast. So that's a lot of fun, and anyone can play this. It's this easy. So all you need to do in this game is just be clever and pay attention. And that's good. That's fun. That makes a good abstract strategy. It's not as simple as, for example, Connect 4. But it's also certainly not a brain melter. This is a game that you can easily play with, it says 12 and up, but I would say 10 or even 8 and up could easily play this, in my opinion, and it's relatively fast, so the replayability is also pretty good, because you want to play like a rematch, best out of 3, best out of 5 maybe even, because it's so fast. And you can set up the board differently every time as well. You can make it symmetrical, or you can just randomly put down all of these tokens for the galaxies and the black holes. So your layout is going to be different every time if you want to. And that's also a lot of fun. That makes it very interesting and challenging as well. So the replayability is very well done. And you don't often see a changing board in an abstract strategy. So that's definitely a good thing too. Then there's the language dependency. Other than the rules, there's no text at all in this game, so it's fully language independent, which also deserves a thumbs up. So in the end, very interesting abstract strategy. It's fast, it's fun, it's clever, you need to pay attention. I really like playing this, so definitely giving this a thumbs up as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please also give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, how to play videos and unboxings on my channel. It really helps if you subscribe, so thank you for that. Also check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below, or the Patreon icon at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.